In this video, I'm going to be talking about the best 5 laptops for video editing in 2020. Now there are many laptops out there, and my goal is to help you find the laptop that you need. So I'm going to try my best to simplify this video, and my goal is to have the best video on YouTube for this purpose. Okay, now before we begin with the best 5 laptops, there are some things that you need to know that many people forget to mention. So, okay, sure, you need to look for a good performing laptop that is going to allow you to run the programs that you want to run and edit the videos you want to edit. But there is one thing that everybody seems to forget. It is very important to have a super good screen. Now, when you're editing a video, the last thing you want is to finish the video and upload it to YouTube, and then you go and watch it on your phone and it looks super weird. And then you watch it on your laptop and it looks super weird. You don't want that to happen. So for that not to happen, you're gonna try and get a screen that has a high color accuracy. And another thing to look out for is gonna be a wide color gamut. So you're gonna try and find a screen that has 90% sRGB or higher. And I'd recommend that you stay with Adobe sRGB being 70% or higher. These two things are what you should look out for in a screen. And the other thing to look out for is going to be the panel type. You've got 3 main types: IPS panels, TN panels, and VA panels. I suggest you stick with the IPS panels. They are known as the best option for video editors out there. An even better option is going to be an OLED panel, but they are very hard to come across and most laptops don't have OLED panels. So my advice would be stick to an IPS panel, and the luxury option would be an OLED panel. Second thing that most videos fail to mention is going to be that there are more than one video editing software. The main 3 are going to be Adobe Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve and Final Cut Pro. Now there are hundreds of programs, but these are the 3 most common ones. So what you need to know about these is that DaVinci Resolve seems to use a lot of GPU power. So it's very important to have a laptop with a strong GPU if you're going to be using DaVinci Resolve. However, if you're using Adobe Premiere Pro, the GPU is not as important. The CPU is the most important part. So if you get a laptop with an amazing CPU, even if it doesn't have a GPU, it will still be fine. And as for Final Cut Pro, as many of you already know, this is a Mac operating system software. So all you have to do is just buy a Mac operating system within the last 2 years and you'll be good to go. So without further to say, we can now dive into the best 5 laptops. But there's one last thing I want to mention. I want to make this upfront. I don't own any of these laptops. So hopefully in the future I'll be able to afford buying 5 laptops for a video, but I can't do that yet. So if you guys buy these laptops through the links in the description, that would be much appreciated, as I would earn a tiny commission. And don't worry, I've done this video based on days of research and I have a very good background in tech, so hopefully you won't be disappointed and you'll find the right thing for your needs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and a subscribe and a like would be much appreciated if you end up enjoying it. So coming up at number 5, we have the Acer Swift 3 2020 edition. This is going to be the best video editing laptop at a budget. So if you're looking for a cheap video editing laptop, this is the way to go. Now in my opinion, the Acer Swift 3 is an outstanding laptop in 2020. Now why? What makes this thing outstanding? Mainly the fact that it stands in front of 99% of the competitions, spec-wise, all while keeping a sleek and professional design. Okay, so here's the coolest part. This laptop right here features AMD's newest Ryzen 7 4700U processor. Now this processor can outperform many laptops, even 2 to 3 times the price of this laptop. This laptop was priced at around $670 at the time I made this video, and it beats out laptops that cost $2,000. So if that's not enough to wow you, I don't know what is. So anyways, here are the specs that make this laptop the best budget laptop for video editing in 2020. The CPU is, as we mentioned, the AMD Ryzen 7 4700U. The GPU is actually built in, so you get the built-in graphics that comes with the CPU, and it is AMD Radeon graphics. Now this is not going to be the best option if you want to use DaVinci Resolve. However, for Adobe Premiere Pro, you don't need a good GPU. A CPU is mainly what is going to be used, and this is definitely going to be the best option at this price to go for. And the RAM is 8GB. And the laptop weighs a mere 2.65 pounds, which is a little bit more than a kilo. That's very light. And the size is a 14-inch screen, and you get 11 hours of tested battery life. This number is also outstanding at this price. It's super hard to find 11 hours of battery life at this price. especially with a good CPU. And the cool thing is that this laptop also features all the newest technologies out there. So you get the Wi-Fi 6 technology, which is the fastest Wi-Fi technology we get in 2020. And as for ports, you also get a USB Type-C port, which is very needed. And you get an HDMI and a USB 3.2, and there is also a normal USB 2.0, and you also get a headphone jack. Now, do you remember when I told you this laptop beats laptops 2 to 3 times its price? Well, here are the Geekbench results. So Geekbench is just a program that they use to test the speed of the laptop. So this beastly laptop actually managed to score 19,163. Now don't worry, you don't have to know what that means. So it beat the Swift 3 Intel model, which scored 14,000. It beat the HP Envy 13-inch, which scored 15,000. It even beat the MacBook Pro 10th Gen i5 edition, which scored 18,000. And it even beat the Dell XPS 13 laptop, which scored 19,053. So it beat all these laptops in the speed test, which are all 2 to 3 times its price. That just shows you how powerful this laptop is. Now here's the problem. As with anything in life, there is nothing too good to be true. So where there are super inflated positives, there will also be a negative. So I know in the beginning of the video, I told you that you need a wide color gamut screen. A wide color gamut.
A wide color gamut.
And sadly, this does not have a wide color gamut. So at this price, it's super hard to find a wide color gamut screen, and this screen covers only 62% of the sRGB color gamut. Now honestly, this number is not very good. However, the color accuracy of the screen is superb. It has a delta E of 0.2, which if you don't know what that means, anything under 2 is going to be great for video editing purposes or color grading purposes. So the color accuracy is no problem, but the main problem is you don't get a wide color gamut, so you're going to be missing out on some colors. So if you want the best performing laptop possible, you might have to compromise a little on the screen. So this is going to be the best budget option if you care about aesthetics and you want a professional looking laptop. Now, if you don't mind having a gamer look on your laptop, then a good option is going to be to go for the Acer Nitro 5. The Acer Nitro 5 is going to be the best alternative option to the Swift 3. And it has a very good screen. It has it will give you a 100% sRGB coverage and a color delta E of 0.33, which means it's super color accurate. Now please note, on the Acer Nitro 5, you're gonna get a worse CPU, but you will get a graphics card, a GTX 1650. So if you're gonna be using DaVinci Resolve, then you should stick with the Nitro 5. Now coming up in number 4, we have the best mid-range video editing laptop out there. So this is going to be the ASUS ROG Zephyrus laptop. This is a killer option at this budget point. Now for 90% of people out there, there is no need to go for a better laptop than this. If you can get your hands on this, you're going to do most video editing until you become a little bit pro and you start handling 4K footage, then you're going to have to worry about getting a better laptop. So for 90% of the people, this is going to do everything you want it to do, and it will excel while doing it. So with this laptop, you get one of AMD's newest laptop CPUs, which is the AMD Ryzen 7 4800U. This is going to be the king of CPUs at this price range, and it does defeat the rival from Intel at this price range, which is going to be the i7 1750H. So here is a quick overview for the specs of this laptop. You get an IPS panel, which is going to be great for increased color accuracy and better viewing angles. You get 1080p resolution, you get a Ryzen 7 4800U CPU, you get an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 GPU, and you get a whopping 24GB of RAM. Yeah, you heard that right, 24. And of course, as expected, you get Windows 10 operating system. Now the ports that come with this laptop are also very good. You get a USB-C port for charging, and you get 2 USB 3.2 Type-C ports, and you get 2 USB 3.0 ports Type A, and you also get an HDMI port. And if for some reason all these ports do not satisfy your needs, you could easily get a dongle that you attach to the USB-C, so don't worry about that. Okay, now it seems to be a trend where I excite you for a laptop and then I tell you what's bad. So the good thing with this laptop is there's nothing really bad. The only con of this laptop is going to be the fact that it does not have a webcam. Now, if that bothers you, then maybe you want to try and look for something else. But if you don't care about a webcam, then definitely stick with this option. So if you want a webcam and you want something with the exact same specs as this, a superb alternative is going to be the Dell G515 laptop. It is a superb alternative to this option. Now the reason this is the best mid-range laptop is thanks to the amazing screen. So you get an sRGB coverage of 117% and an Adobe RGB coverage of 74.3%, which is higher than most of this laptop's competitors. So for video editing, you can expect it to edit almost any footage at 1080p without any issues whatsoever, but you may struggle a little to edit very complex 4K projects, but you will still manage to get them done. If you are doing super complex 4K projects, then you will definitely have to go for the high-end laptops, which are going to be number 2 and 1. Coming up, number 3, we have the Apple MacBook Air. Now look, I have never been an advocate of Apple laptops. To be honest, I have always recommended Windows laptops, because usually Windows laptops had higher specs at a lower price than the Apple laptops. But no, this year is different. Apple have just reinvented the wheel in laptops. Apple have gotten sick of Intel and they dumped Intel and they decided to make their own CPU. And that was an amazing choice, because now they made something called the M1 CPU chip. And now this M1 chip, it is so epic. The Apple M1 chip is faster than 90% of CPUs out in the market right now. The performance of the $1,000 MacBook Air actually exceeds the performance of the MacBook Pro 16-inch that costs $5,200. Look, the processor on this laptop is crazy, because Apple have finally decided to introduce the architecture used for mobile smartphones in a laptop. So it's not the same type of CPU that you'd find in other laptops, but it's so efficient that you can get 20 hours of battery life on this laptop. That's how efficient it is. And guess what? Have you ever seen a phone with fans in it? I don't think so. And why? Because phone processors don't overheat. Same thing with this laptop. It does not overheat, so they didn't even need to put a fan inside. It does not have fans. It has a fanless design. So this thing is epic. I'm sorry for the overexcitement and ranting, but this Apple laptop is the way to go. And you see everything I just said? This laptop also weighs 1 kilo. Okay, and you might be thinking, okay, you're talking about the CPU, what about the GPU? Guess what? The GPU is also built into the CPU and it is awesome. The performance of it is outstanding and has never been seen on a CPU. And it has 8GB of RAM for this entry option, or you could also go for the MacBook Air Pro 13 that also has the M1 chip, and that one has 16GB of RAM. However, most people won't even need that. Now look, 8GB of RAM doesn't seem like a lot, but because of this new architecture, the laptop does not require as much RAM as it usually did before. So 16GB RAM on a Windows laptop is now like 8GB of RAM on an Apple laptop with the M1 chip. Okay, and you might be thinking, is the display good? And the answer to that is yes. The display can reproduce up to 113% of the sRGB gamut. And the color accuracy is superb. The delta E is 0.34. And you even get a DCI-P3 coverage of 80%. So if I were you, I would not hesitate to be getting this laptop. Now coming up in number 2, we have the best high-end video editing laptop with gamer series. This is gonna be the Razer Blade 15 Advanced Gaming Laptop 2020 edition. Now what is so cool about this laptop, huh? Like it's priced around 3,200. Like what the hell, is this thing gonna make me ice cream or something? And sadly it won't make you ice cream, but it will make you many other things. So I do understand this price is not for everyone, I understand this, but in my opinion this is going to be the best option you can possibly go for at this price point. So if you're trying to look for the best laptop out there and you want the best, possible laptop out there, this is going to be the way to go. Now here is a quick overview of the specs, and then I'll tell you what makes this a godly performing laptop. So first of all, the CPU is an i7 1875H. You only find this CPU on the most premium laptops out there, and it offers a superb performance. It is one of the fastest CPUs available right now in 2020. And the GPU is an RTX 2080 Super Max Q, which is also the fastest GPU available right now on the market. Now the RAM is a little bit disappointing, 16GB of RAM, but it's upgradable up to 64GB of RAM. And for storage you get a 1TB SSD storage, and the screen is where this laptop is amazing. You get a 4K OLED screen. Now you may have heard of OLED screens before on TVs, but you never hear of OLED screens on computers. And this is where this laptop is amazing. So OLED is slowly getting introduced to laptops, to the laptop world, and this is one of the first adopters of the OLED screen technology. A 4K OLED screen is gonna look gorgeous, and it has a much better contrast than any other panel type out there, and it is even better than an IPS panel for creative purposes. I'll talk more about the screen soon. So here are the ports. You get 3 USB 3.2 Type A ports, and you get 2 USB Type C ports, and you get a Thunderbolt 3 port, and you get an HDMI port, and you even get an SD card reader port. You see, they know that you're gonna use this thing for creative purposes. So back to the monitor. It has a 4K OLED monitor which covers a super wide color range, covering 100% of the DCI-P3 range. Now most laptops can't even cover 80% of this thing. Okay, before I say this next thing, you might want to embrace yourself because you might just fall off your chair. This thing has a 250% sRGB color coverage. You say, what, 250? How does that even work? I don't know, it works though. I know when you think of it logic, you're gonna be like, okay, so how do you have 200% color? Like isn't 100% the max? No, like it's not the max. 250% is obviously somehow possible. So for video editing purposes, this is gonna be the king. And if you're just like crazy and you want something even better than this, you can go for the Razer Blade 15 Studio Edition, which features an RTX 5000 graphics card. This laptop costs 4500. So if you're crazy and you just want to get the best laptop out there in the world right now, you can definitely try and go for that. And number 1, we have the best overall high-end video editing laptop in 2020, without gaming aesthetics. And the cool thing with this laptop is you don't have to sell your car to buy it. Okay, so here are the specs of this laptop. You get an i7 10875H, you get a GPU, you can pick between RTX 2060 or an RTX 2070 or an RTX 2080. Now this is going to depend highly on your budget range, which one you're going to pick. And obviously, if you want to be editing super complex 4K projects, then you might want to think about going for the RTX 2080. For RAM, you get 32 gigabytes of RAM, and you can upgrade these 32 gigabytes up to 64 gigabytes if that's what you want to do. But I'd say 32 gigabytes is definitely more than enough for most people. The storage on this laptop, you get a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD, which is awesome. And the screen is a 4K IPS screen with 100% Adobe sRGB and more than 100% sRGB coverage, and you get a pre-calibrated out-of-the-box display with less than 2 delta E, which is going to be perfect and super color accurate, so it's going to be perfect for any type of creators, and it has all the color vibrancy and color accuracy you'd ever dream of as a video editor. And ports on this laptop are also amazing. You get 2 USB Type-C ports, you get a headphone jack, you get an SD card reader, you get an Ethernet jack, you get a USB 3.2 Type A, and of course you get an HDMI port. So this laptop is the ultimate laptop on this list that was actually built for creativity. And as for extra features on this thing, the screen is also 180-degree rotatable, which is a very nice cherry on top. So you can lay the laptop flat so you can share your amazing creations with your colleagues. And as for logging in the laptop, don't worry, you don't have to memorize any nasty passwords. It has a fingerprint reader to protect all your personal information. And the laptop also has a built-in high-res audio, which is also lossless and gives you a very premium quality audio. So it's a definite awesome addition to any video editing laptop. You can also get this laptop at 15 inches or 17 inches, and you can choose between 2 different colors to suit your needs. That laptop is sweet. The MSI Creator 15 will be priced at around $2,000. Okay, now that was one long video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took me more than a week to make. A subscribe and a like would be much appreciated. And if you guys have any questions whatsoever, comment them below and I will try my best to answer them as soon as possible. So without further to say, I wish you a very nice day and goodbye.